Welcome back to the Scott Reed Project and a happy new year. Here we are, New Year's Day in the morning, new year and a new challenge. And it's a culinary challenge. It's this behemoth, this B-52 of the sky, the Canadian goose. Now, culinary wise, you know, it's not the most prized goose going, but we have got thousands of them here in the UK. You know, they're a pest, we shoot them, so it's only fair we eat them. Now what I'm going to do with this, I am going to cheat, I'm going to breast it out, and I know a lot of you guys out there saying, well, you know, you're not doing it properly, you know, doing justice to the old carcass. You know, some of you guys, if you've had a go at plucking one of these, you normally only do it once, because it is such a lot of hard work, and that might sound like a cop-out, but really, once you've got the breast meat off, and the legs off, there's not a lot on the back. You know, so I'm just going to go for the pure meat on this one. There aren't many recipes about for these. I've looked through all my cookbooks, I can count it on one hand how many recipes there are. I've just spoken to a friend of mine in Wales, he's just sent me a fantastic one which I shall be trying in the not too distant future, but today we are going to concentrate on breasting it out. This is a different ball game, this wild fowl, you know, thick downy feathers. I am just picking a spot so I can get my knife under the skin. So you just got to take your time, just rip a little hole. Now this has been hanging for 5 days. I mean, you can hang these for a week or so with the guts in, obviously if the weather's good. With it being winter over here, it's absolutely perfect. So if you look in there, all I've done is made a hole, a little nick just in the skin. And obviously these don't peel as easy as a pheasant would. We're just gently easing the feathers off that breast. And it does look like a big old animal. Well, it is a big bird, but when you actually get the meat off, the ratio of meat to bone is quite low. Just take your time. Obviously the feathers, they get everywhere. So just, it's a case of just taking your time and releasing the skin until that breast is prominent. Turn it around this side, you might have to use your knife to give it a helping hand a little bit. But we want the whole of that breast. Now I have made some sausages with these Canada Goose and they were absolutely fantastic. But in the UK, believe it or not, it is actually illegal to sell Canada Goose. And it's madness because we have got absolutely thousands of them. So once we've exposed that breast, what we're going to do, down that breastbone, knife right up to the breastplate, and you'll see in a minute what I mean about that meat to bone ratio. It looked a massive piece of meat, but when you take it off the bone, that's what you're left with. So with the other side then, following the breastbone, spin it round for you guys, nice and clean. Just following it down. And you know, please don't leave comments saying, oh well, you should have done the whole thing. I have done it myself many a time before. I'm just showing you the easy way to breast it out and then see what we can get made from these fantastic breasts. So there's those two lovely breasts. As you can see, I mean, they promise so much, they look fantastic, but obviously Canadian geese, like I said, haven't got the best reputation. These can be dry, You've got to be really careful. It's one of those birds you've either got to cook really slow or real fast, and that's what I want to try and do today, is cook it fast like a steak. So all I'm doing is taking off that silver skin. Same with this side. Just removing any bits I think will hinder the cooking, so just a knife under. And look at the top, a bit of sinew there. They look absolutely amazing. So when I said about that meat to bone ratio, when you look at the size of the thing and you realise that the prime meat is that, they're really losing a lot on them. But don't worry, I will be taking the legs off those guys, so don't panic. I will be using it, but like I said, we're concentrating on these. So all I'm doing then, that silver skin there, if you get your knife in just the tip, you can see it under the skin. You can see it on top of that blade. Just hold it and just slide and you trim it up. It's that easy. So just get your knife under, you can see it, and hold it, go the other way. We just gently trim in that silver skin, which once hits the pan tenses up, and obviously you will not get that shape back. So we're just trimming it gently. So I think you'll agree they look pretty good. And I'm going to take one in now, and we're going to cook one of these up. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to square it off, because you can see it looks a bit like a steak. I'm just going to gently score both sides. That looks like a flat iron steak, in all fairness. That doesn't look bad at all. Just take that bit of silver skin off there, square that up, just give that a slash. So just before we cook that then, I just want to say a little bit about this knife. A lot of you guys out there ask what knives I use. This is a Victorinox 5-inch semi-flex boning knife. Great value for money. You know, they're about £8 delivered. They are the trade standard, looked after, will last a lifetime. They stay ultra sharp. So if you're looking for a good knife to do your boning and your dicing, this is the one you want, the Victorinox 5-inch semi-flex. Here endeth the sermon. Let's go into the kitchen. Okay then, let's see if we can turn this rather undistinguished piece of meat into a culinary goodie, or will my metaphoric goose be cooked? Right, what I'm going to do then, we're going to dress these up in my usual manner. I'll dress the plate. So crack some pepper on. Plenty of pepper. I'm going to treat this like a steak, as I've said. Try and cook it medium rare, and then we'll have a try. And then if it turns out perfect, which, you know, I think it will, maybe a little chewy, then I might make a nice little sauce to go with it. So I'm just going to put some sea salt on, and I'm going to add just a few, not a lot, chili flakes, just for that little bit of heat in the background. So get one of my, what I'm going to refer to as steaks. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on the meat, as you always do with steaks. Rub it in. Get my plate with my seasoning on. Just give it one of those. Great way of seasoning any steak. And I've got my pan on full heat. As soon as that comes up to temperature, we're going to get it in. As with cooking any steak, that pan really has got to be smoking hot. I don't know if you can see that. Else, as soon as you lay that meat in there, it's going to take the heat straight out of the pan, and it won't pan fry, it will just start to boil. So all I'm doing is a little bit of oil into the pan as well. Get my breast, and you want that sizzle straight away. press down. And what we're looking to do is build up a lovely caramelised crust. So we're just going to leave that for a minute or two so we've got some nice colour on it. Now we're going to flip it over, do the other side. I'll just give that steak a check then. As you can see, got a lovely caramelised crust, looking great so far. So just turn it on the other side. Remember, there is no fat whatsoever on that breast, so if you need to put a little bit more fat in, help it along, by all means do. If I can just show you that one side, if you can see there, it looks fantastic. If I can get that on the camera, starting to cook, looks great, looks great. So we've got our caramelisation on both sides. As you can see, it's looking great. So I'm just going to take the heat out of that pan. I'm going to add a spot more oil, and we want to cook it nice and gentle for about 3 to 4 minutes aside. So as you can hear there, that's just ticking over nicely. I've given it the 3 minutes to one side. I'm just going to turn it over. I might give it a few more minutes at the moment. Now it's feeling quite rare, but I do want it rare, medium rare. What I will do in the next few minutes, I shall finish it off with a knob of butter and we will rest that then for a good 10 minutes. Okay, that's cooked for as long as I want it to cook, so what I'm going to do, just turn the heat up a little bit, just till this butter melts. I don't want it burning. And we're going to continuously nap the butter over good old goosey gander here. Add a bit of flavour. Actually turn the heat off now, I don't want the butter burning. Continue to just dredge it. Just for a minute or so. I'm going to take it out onto a plate, loosely cover it with foil and let it rest for 10 minutes. So while we're waiting for our goose breast to relax, just going to knock up a quick simple sauce. So in there we've got all our lovely juices, what there was on the meat, caramelised on the bottom, the butter, got our salt and pepper, obviously that was on it, and our chilli. So in we go with just one small diced shallot. That's shallot, baby. Just get that going just for a minute or so. Lifting up all those caramelised juices from the bottom. And into that, I've got one diced tomato. That can go in, start the cooking process. Don't want that skin. Start heating that through. So our tomatoes and our shallots are going. I'm just going to add a drop of creme de cassis, blackcurrant liqueur. Let's give it one of those. I think that will go nice with it. And obviously the heat up. We want to reduce that till the pan's almost dry, which won't take long. Then to the pan, as you can see, that's dried nicely. I'm going to give it a little glug of red wine. We will do the same, reduce that down on full heat until that's 2/3 gone. That's thickened nicely. So we're just going to finish that with a little bit of chicken stock and then reduce that so it's nice and thick. I think that's going to be. That's lovely. I'm going to season that up with plenty of pepper. stir. Nice and thick. Give it a try. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's lovely. So, put some salt in there. It's that simple. Give that a go. Tip top. Okay, Goosey Lucy. It's been resting for 15 minutes. You can see the juices into the sauce. The moment of truth. I have no idea what this is going to turn out like. Look at that. Fantastic. Obviously it's got a bit of tension with the knife, but you know, what do we expect? But that is looking good so far. Right, let's put this beauty on the plate. So there's our lovely pieces of goose. Does look like the finest steak. Let's just give it a centre stage. Just put a bit of our sauce over the top, maybe that blackcurrant liqueur, red wine and chicken stock, shallots and tomato, and if you add some cream, finish it with some cream. Okay, so it doesn't look too bad at all. Remember, this was an experiment. I mean, it looks fantastic, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's a bit of give with a knife. That doesn't mean nothing now. Is it tasty? I'll tell you what, considering that's a tough old thing, that the flavour is fantastic. It's just like beef. There is nothing stopping that being as good as beef. I think what it needs is when you slice it, to slice it thinner, and it's perfect. Well, there's no doubting, just look at that. Now that is a fine piece of meat. Yeah, a little bit chewy in hindsight, cut it thinner, but it is really a cracking piece of meat. Man, I can't stop eating that. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen here today on the Scott Reed Project, please subscribe. I release a video every week. Also, find me on Twitter at the Scott Reed Project. You can see what I'm doing on there. If you've got any questions, I'll answer them. Just remains for me to say then, that's the first video of the new year. Thanks for watching, guys. And if any of you guys on this New Year's Day are feeling benevolent or generous, please check the fan funding to the right there. You can make a donation from $1 to $500. If you want to give me $1, that would be fantastic. So, I'll see you again next time, guys. I'm going to eat this bit up. All the best and have a good new year.